Zidane!
It's over!
He's done it again! Unbelievable!
Oh, straight into the roof of the net.
Nice one.
Straight down the middle. So,
Hi, you're watching First Sports. I'm Rupha Ramani. Let's get the show started. Today on the show, Indian cricket stars in domestic tournaments gets critics to call out the contests as being lopsided and too one-sided for anyone's good. But is this exactly what these smaller state sides or younger players need now? England captain Ben Stokes asks everyone to show some empathy at a time when England are already bruised in an Ashes series that is only going one way. Has Stokes' leadership taken a bit of a hit here? And can he find it in him to turn things around? And why did legendary French footballer Zinedine Zidane's son, Luca, choose the AFCON and Algeria as his playing country rather than France in his father's footsteps? Stay on to know more on this. But first, the headlines on Sports 360. Starting with cricket, Ashes batters ran for cover on day one of the fourth test. 20 wickets fell at the MCG across 3 sessions. Josh Tongue picked 5 for England. Michael Nesser returned with 4 for the Aussies. Australia are currently leading by 46 runs. England have already lost the 5-match series 3-0. On to football. The Turkish football betting scandal continues to blow up as prosecutors have ordered the detention of 29 more people. A former Galatasaray executive along with 24 officials have already been detained. Manchester City owners will exit Mumbai City FC as they are set to sell their majority shares. This comes at a time when the future of Indian Super League still remains uncertain. Mumbai came under City's umbrella in 2019. They own 13 clubs across the world. Under this, they won the ISL Cup twice and the Shield once. Egypt has appointed an interim swimming federation following the death of a 12-year-old swimmer. The head of the federation and the Egyptian Olympic Committee remain behind bars for alleged gross negligence. A trial is set to take place next month. And summing up with NBA, LeBron James and Luca Doncic failed to save LA Lakers from a 96 to 119-point loss to Houston Rockets. Doncic scored 25, James contributed with 18. But Rockets were powered to win by Eamon Thompson. Lakers have slipped to 4th in Western Conference table. Much before the IPL frenzy officially begins, India's domestic season is already crackling with excitement. And no, this buzz has nothing to do with the mini auction. It's coming from the heart of Indian cricket. The Vijay Hazare Trophy is underway. Superstars like Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma and Rishabh Pant are back in domestic colours. And then there are youngsters like Vaibhav Suryavanshi who are rewriting record books. But critics are asking, is the presence of India's biggest stars turning the Vijay Hazare Trophy into lopsided contests? Is it exposing the gulf between elite teams and smaller associations? And more importantly, is this really good for Indian cricket? Now, there's a saying, if you're the smartest person in the room, maybe you're in the wrong room. In sport, that logic goes even further because champions are not created by living in their comfort zones. They are forged by resistance. You don't become world-class by beating weaker opponents every day. You become world-class by facing heavyweights and surviving them. And that's where this debate gets a little complicated because critics argue that superstar participation makes domestic cricket a rather uneven contest.
There is a huge divide, chalk and cheese in terms of quality with some teams. It becomes very lopsided with some teams and there is no contest at all. It's not an ideal contest.
Ashwin's comments came after a brutal mismatch. Bihar, the stateside Bihar, thrashed Arunachal Pradesh by 397 runs. Youngster Vaibhav Suryavanshi smashed 190 of just 84 deliveries. But here's the counter. How do young players rise if they are never tested against the very best? Ashwin went a step further here, asking what such defeats really do to the confidence of smaller teams. It's a fair point. A loss like that got to hurt. It bruises morale, But here's the other side of the argument. Isn't the Vijay Hazare Trophy meant to be exactly that platform? A stage for India's budding cricketers, a stage to get noticed, a stage to show selectors that I belong here at the highest level. And when that stage includes the likes of Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma and many others of India's best, the spotlight doesn't just stay on them. It doubles for everyone else.
The scoring rate and the strike rate is very high when all these international players play. It was a treat watching him from so close, and it was an honour.
That's of course the captain of Sikkim, a team that lost to Mumbai. Yes, they were beaten badly, but listen to what he just said. This wasn't just a loss, it was a learning curve. Watching players like Virat Kohli or Rohit Sharma from up close, seeing how they prepare, how they think, how they operate and dominate oppositions. That's the sort of education you can't get anywhere in any net session. And that lesson continued just days later. Mumbai faced Uttarakhand earlier today. Mumbai posted 331, another big score, but the headline didn't belong to the batters. It belonged to a young pacer from Uttarakhand, Devendra Bora. He dismissed Rohit Sharma for a duck, and suddenly, who is Devendra Bora? Where did he come from? What else can he do? Started trending. That's the power of facing the very best, and that's what it can bring out of any youngster or inexperienced or the untested players. Take Gujarat versus Delhi, for instance. Delhi were restricted to 254. Virat Kohli, yes, top scored with 77, but it was spinner Vishal Jayswal who stole the moment. He dismissed Kohli, denying him a second straight 100. Jayswal's name was everywhere. That's what happens when you perform against giants. Because these stars, even if the matches are not televised, bring the lens. They bring the attention and the conversations. They bring opportunity. If you perform, you get noticed. And that's how doors will open. So yes, there is a gap in Indian domestic cricket. And yes, some matches are going to be one-sided. But the answer isn't to remove the best players from the competition entirely. The answer is to raise the bar, not lower the ceiling. Domestic cricket isn't meant to be comfortable. It's meant to be demanding because international cricket will not go easy on you. And if India wants a deeper, tougher, more fearless talent pool to take from, then exposure to greatness isn't the problem, that's the solution. The Vijay Hazare Trophy or any such domestic tournament can't just be about providing intense contests right through. It's about preparing players for reality. A reality where bowlers face the likes of Rohit Sharma, where spinners can challenge Virat Kohli, where youngsters learn that pressure is not the enemy. It's a test. And Indian cricket has always thrived on this sort of a grind. From dusty maidans to packed stadiums, from domestic obscurity to global presence. India has forged stars in the quiet for the roar of international arenas. So the question is, are we ready to build more players who can stand up to them? Because that's how champions are truly made. It's tough to be England captain Ben Stokes today. An Ashes series against Australia in Australia has been lost. Criticism is coming in thick and fast from the English cricket fraternity. The English media has already gone after the team with a 3-0 scoreline staring down. Social media has made it, of course, a whole lot worse. It's not a good time to be in the shoes of an England cricketer and certainly not in the shoes of their skipper, Ben Stokes. So he's done the only thing he can think of now after the Noosa episode exploded. He's asked everyone to spare some thought, to be empathetic towards his team and his players. But the question is this: can Ben Stokes, the leader, turn over a fresh chapter for himself and his country here on? Will he be able to reboot this campaign with 2 tests still to go and the Boxing Day test underway? Look, being a leader is a tough one to navigate. It's all good when the team is winning, but it's the losses that are difficult to negotiate. And that's what it really comes down to, doesn't it? Sure, it would be great to just keep winning as much as you can, but sport doesn't work that way. And the beauty is this, how you rise from the lows. That really truly defines you, your journey and your legacy. Ben Stokes addressed the pre-match presser, and kudos to him to get out there and take on the questions head-on. Full marks to Stokes and the management to face the chin music, which it had to come to. Let's not denounce that.
My main concern right now is my players. The welfare of everyone in there, and some certain individuals as well, is the most important thing to me right now, is to get them into the best possible state to try and perform for their country and for the remainder of this trip.
So that's one step towards ownership, and that was a little heartening to see. And Stokes laid it out bare. He acknowledged how truly devastating this episode and the fallout of this could be for any cricketer, and asked everyone to show some empathy.
I think a little bit of empathy from everyone would be not too hard to think about. It's never a nice place to be in when not only the media world but also the social media world is just piling on top of you.
This image, these words do feel like such a U-turn from the Stokes who came into the Ashes with chest puffed out and swagger in his words. Who, when asked after the Adelaide defeat on what would he have liked to do differently, said he'd like to have won a few tosses. Sport is cruel, Stokes. It can one day put you on the top of the world and then just pull you down when you least expect it. That's sport today. Intense, competitive, international sport. It'll humble you, especially when you take it all too lightly or when you least expect it. This here is a lesson in leadership for anyone aspiring to be one. Because here's how I see it. Ben Stokes, captain of a cricketing nation, the country that founded the very sport, may feel like the world is out to get him. But I just see him sitting on the cusp of opportunity here. Real opportunity to change the narrative, to turn everything around, claw your way back and show some fight. Somehow end what's been a horrible tour for England on a high. What can he do as a leader? And I don't mean through his performances alone, but how can he motivate this bunch here to really punch up in Melbourne? That's what the world is waiting to see. The year 2025 itself has proved to be a wake-up call for Stokes, McCullum and the baseball bravado. The series against India and how his demeanour came under scrutiny to what's transpired now against Australia in Australia. Stokes says it's all good when you're winning, but that's the thing. When the wins blind you into assuming you're supposed to win, that's when reality can strike you, like it has for England and Stokes in particular. And that's when true leadership shines through, a leadership that doesn't celebrate the wins all too much because the next loss could be around the corner. A leader who knows exactly when to pull his team up and when to protect them, who leads by example and holds up the mirror when it's absolutely necessary. Can Stokes harness that true leadership at this time of crisis? Crisis that England cricketing culture itself faces today, and a crisis that is slowly marring their cricketing identity. That's what England is asking. Can you stand your ground and fight, or will you flee? The Africa Cup of Nations is proving to be far more than just a football tournament. It has always been a breeding ground for African talent, and now AFCON is doing something even more powerful. It's changing narratives, and it has become about identity, about choices and legacy. Zinedine Zidane's son Luca Zidane made his first start for a continental event, but not for France, for Algeria instead, the land of his grandparents, a decision that raised a question. Was it about escaping the weight of his father's shadow, or was it about something much more? Our next report tells you why this choice matters.
Elite sport is never easy. It demands perfection, it demands patience, and above all, it demands survival. But that journey becomes infinitely harder when your surname carries legacy. The world keeps asking, are you good or are you just someone's child? From Arjun Tendulkar in cricket, Bronny James in basketball, to Ronaldo Jr. in football, The list is long. Children of icons don't just chase careers, they chase acceptance. And one of the most scrutinized names in that list is Luca Zidane. Son of World Cup winner, Ballon d'Or legend, and one of football's greatest minds, Zinedine Zidane. This was never going to be a normal football journey, because the world never sees you as an individual first. It sees the surname you carry. So when Luca Zidane made his AFCON debut for Algeria, the spotlight wasn't just on the match, it was on him. And the glare only intensified when Zizou himself was spotted in the stands. Father watching son, history watching the future. And Luca responded. A clean sheet on debut, calm under pressure, commanding presence. He guided Algeria to victory. But this story goes far beyond 90 minutes. Because Luca Zidane's career has always revolved around one brutal question. Can Zidane's son deliver at the highest level? Especially when he spent most of his youth within the French football system. Yet in 2025, Luca made a bold, defining choice. He changed his sporting nationality from France to Algeria. This wasn't just paperwork. It was a statement, a decision to honor his grandfather's homeland. And Luca Zidane is far from alone. Nearly 30% of players at AFCON have European connections, born in Europe, trained in Europe, polished by Europe's academies. Yet many chose Africa, for pride, for identity, for purpose. But when the son of Zinedine Zidane makes that same choice, the message is louder. Let's be honest. Having a World Cup winning father and one of the greatest football minds ever in your corner does help. It opens doors, but it doesn't guarantee a national call-up, and it certainly doesn't force a player to take the easy route. Luca's decision shows something important, that the perspective is changing. Footballers are no longer obsessed only with ranking and silverware. They want meaning. They want ownership of their story. We've seen this before. Achraf Hakimi, born and raised in Spain. Could have worn the Spanish jersey, but he chose Morocco, the country of his parents. And in 2022, he didn't just represent them. He led Morocco to a historic World Cup semifinal. Luca Zidane keeping a clean sheet for Algeria is not just a football moment. It's a symbol. AFCON is no longer just about discovering talent. It's about discovering truth, who you are, where you belong, and what you choose to stand for.
Time for Last Serve. The iconic Sydney-Hobart Ocean Race has sailed into its historic 80th edition. But before the battle against the seas began, the spotlight turned to remembrance. Yacht skippers honored the victims of the tragic Bondi Beach shooting, paying tribute to the 15 lives lost in a moment that transcended sport. Take a look. That wraps it up here on First Sports. We are heading towards the end of the year, so have a festive weekend coming up. I'll see you, of course, on the other side. Bye-bye.
Want the facts?
The latest developments?
News that gets straight to the point.
Well, we've got all three just for you. This is Firstpost Live, a brand new show, your window into what really matters.
Don't miss it.
Firstpost now available in 9 languages on YouTube.
English,
Stands at $36 trillion.
French,
Le FMI, comme
German,
Geschäftsführenden Direktoren,
Hindi,
$30 trillion ka karjo.
Indonesian,
Pemerintah tanpa pemeriksaan.
Italian,
Fiskali radikali.
Japanese,
4 兆ドル以上も
Portuguese,
por causa do próprio balanço patrimonial.
Spanish.
Beautiful bill.
Go to Settings, click on Audio Track and select the language of your choice. Be the first to know what's happening around you in your first language. Firstpost.